The Syrian civil war is an ongoing conflict that began in 2011 in Syria. It started as a peaceful protest movement against the government of President Bashar al-Assad, but quickly escalated into a full-blown civil war after the government responded with force. The conflict has been characterized by widespread violence, including the use of chemical weapons, and has resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people as well as the displacement of millions more. The war has been fought between the government forces, backed by Russia and Iran, and various opposition groups, including the Free Syrian Army, as well as Islamist extremists such as ISIS and Jabhat al-Nusra. The conflict has also attracted involvement from various foreign powers, including the United States, the United Kingdom, and France, who have supported the opposition, as well as Russia and Iran, who have supported the government. The war has had a profound impact on the region, with neighboring countries also being affected by the conflict, and has been marked by numerous atrocities and human rights violations. The Syrian civil war has been a complex conflict with many different actors and factors involved. One of the main factors that contributed to the outbreak of the war was the Arab Spring, a series of pro-democracy uprisings that swept through the Middle East and North Africa in 2011 in Syria. Protests began in March of that year, with demonstrators calling for political reforms and greater freedoms. The Syrian government, under the leadership of President Bashar al-Assad, responded to the protests with violence, using the military to crack down on demonstrators and arresting thousands of people. This led to a violent backlash from opposition groups who began to take up arms against the government. The conflict quickly escalated, with both sides engaging in increasingly brutal tactics. One of the key factors that have prolonged the war has been the involvement of foreign powers. Russia has been a key backer of the Syrian government, providing military and logistical support, while Iran has also provided military assistance and funding. On the other side, the United States, the United Kingdom, and France have supported the opposition, providing weapons and training. The war has also been characterized by the rise of extremist groups such as ISIS, who have taken advantage of the chaos to establish a foothold in the region. The group has carried out numerous atrocities, including mass executions and the use of chemical weapons. The humanitarian toll of the war has been devastating, with hundreds of thousands of people killed and millions more displaced. The conflict has also had a ripple effect on the region, with neighboring countries such as Lebanon, Jordan, and Turkey struggling to cope with the influx of refugees. Despite numerous attempts to bring an end to the conflict through diplomatic means, the war continues to rage on. While there have been some recent developments towards a political solution, the situation in Syria remains precarious and the future of the country is uncertain. The Yemeni civil war is an ongoing conflict that began in 2015 in Yemen, a country in the southern part of the Arabian Peninsula. The war has been fought between the internationally recognized government of President Abdrabbuh Mansur Hadi, backed by a coalition of countries led by Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, and Houthi rebels who are aligned with former President Ali Abdullah Saleh and are believed to be backed by Iran. The conflict began when the Houthis, who are a Shia Muslim rebel group, took control of the capital city of Sana'a and forced President Hadi to flee the country. In response, a coalition of countries led by Saudi Arabia and the UAE launched a military intervention in support of the Yemeni government. The conflict has been marked by widespread violence, including the use of airstrikes by the coalition forces and the use of rockets and other weapons by the Houthi rebels. The war has had a devastating impact on Yemeni civilians, with thousands of people killed and millions more displaced from their homes. The war has also had a severe impact on the country's infrastructure, including hospitals, schools, and other critical facilities. The conflict has led to a humanitarian crisis, with tens of millions of Yemenis in need of food, water, and medical assistance. The conflict has been complicated by the involvement of external actors, including Iran and the United States. Iran has been accused of providing support to the Houthi rebels, while the United States has provided logistical and intelligence support to the Saudi-led coalition. Despite numerous attempts to reach a political solution to the conflict, the war continues to rage on, with both sides showing little sign of backing down. The situation in Yemen remains one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with millions of people in need of urgent assistance. The Yemeni civil war has been a complex and multifaceted conflict that has involved numerous actors and factors. One of the key factors that contributed to the outbreak of the war was the political instability that has plagued Yemen for decades. This instability was exacerbated by the Arab Spring in 2011, which led to the ouster of Yemen's longtime authoritarian leader, Ali Abdullah Saleh. The Houthis, who are a Shia Muslim rebel group, took advantage of the political vacuum in the aftermath of Saleh's ouster to seize control of the capital city of Sana'a and other parts of the country. The group is believed to be backed by Iran, which has provided weapons, training, and other forms of support to the rebels. In response, a coalition of countries led by Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates launched a military intervention in support of the Yemeni government, which is led by President Abdrabbuh Mansur Hadi. The coalition has carried out numerous airstrikes against Houthi targets, which have resulted in significant civilian casualties. The conflict has also been marked by the rise of extremist groups such as Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, AQAP, and the Islamic State, who have taken advantage of the chaos to establish a foothold in the country. These groups have carried out numerous attacks against both government forces and civilians, further exacerbating the humanitarian crisis in the country. The humanitarian toll of the war has been devastating, with thousands of people killed and millions more displaced from their homes. The conflict has also led to a severe humanitarian crisis, with millions of Yemenis in need of urgent assistance, including food, water, and medical supplies. Despite numerous attempts to reach a political solution to the conflict, including several rounds of UN-led peace talks, the war continues to rage on. The situation in Yemen remains one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with millions of people in need of urgent assistance and the prospect of a political solution to the conflict remaining uncertain.